Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I am showing you one of the last alternate type cards we're going to be looking at for a while. We've looked at a bunch of alternate type cards, we've had some good discussion, but Sun and Moon 5 Plus has pretty much been entirely revealed now. This is one of the last ones we've got, but it's a good one and it works very well as the new type. It is Heatran. What once was a metal Pokemon is now a fire type Pokemon. Now, not being a metal Pokemon does mean you lose all the ridiculous metal. How? The new Solgaleo, 120, and you attach some energy from your discard to your bench. That's pretty good. The new Magnezone that allows you to attach as many metal energy as you like during your turn. Pretty good. Metal Frying Pan, the item tool that takes away your weakness while making sure that attacks do 30 less damage to you. You lose that as well. Alright, not ideal in terms of what you lose, but being a fire Pokemon means you gain Scorched Earth. Now, to be fair, as good as Scorched Earth is, you're playing fire energy, you discard one from your hand, you draw 2 cards. Most people, if they're playing these fire decks, tend to play Brooklet Hill now, because Starmie is amazing, and also, you've got Volcanion EX, which is partly water type. You do, however, get Baby Volcanion Hey Nick, which is pretty good for energy acceleration. You get yourself Volcanion EX, which is really good. You're a basic Pokemon. Volcanion has the Steam Up ability. Discard an energy from your hand. Your basic fire Pokemon do 30 more damage to the active. That's pretty nice. And you do get Kiawe for early game energy acceleration shenanigans. Although, search your deck for 4 cards, 4 energy, up to 4 energy. Attach it to one of your Pokemon and end your turn. It's useful for Heatran, especially as you discard 2 energy, so it's worth pumping a bunch of energy onto there. It is still better used for something like Ho-Oh GX. And you gain a water weakness, which is an interesting one. Now, you're no longer weak to fire, which could see a rise as metal gets better, but you are now weak to water, which means Empoleon and Glaceon, both of which I expect to be very good, will be getting easy one-hit KOs. And you are hitting weakness on both Golisopod and Metal decks, although if you really want to be hitting weakness on Metal decks because of the tricks that they've got, you really may well need to play Garbodor here, and I did make a video on this very subject. I will pop a link to that bad boy in the description. So, looking at the rest of the basics very quickly, as I've said on a number of occasions, 130 HP is a lot better than 120. Think Golisopod, think Zoroark, etc. that hit for 120. And a retreat cost of 3 means you do have access to Heavy Ball, which is quite nice. Now, the first attack here for a fire and a colourless energy does 30 damage and means that you take 30 less damage from any attacks the following turn. And when I looked at this originally, I said this was very much like the old Jumpluff from Heart Gold Soul Silver, and I stand by that because it is. It's a really good attack if you can take a KO with it, because let's say you whack a Fighting Fury bout onto Heatran, now you're actually next turn having an effective HP of 200. You got 130 plus the 30 that you essentially gain from the attack, plus the 40 for Fighting Fury bout. 200 HP is pretty gosh darned nice. But of course, as much as this attack adds bulk, and that is good, it doesn't really add very much damage. This is a fairly difficult attack to get big KOs with, so this really is one Steam Up to knock out a Zorua, for instance, or finishing off a Pokemon that's already taken a hit or 2 as well. It's not really an attack you would go and use as a big one-hit KO thing. It just doesn't hit the numbers well enough. I mean, if you wanted to one-hit KO a 130 HP Pokemon, I mean, let's just make it easy and say an opposing Volcanion, you would need 3 Steam-Ups and you would need a Fighting Fury belt. In theory, you can get a KO on a Tapu Lele with this, but only if you've got 4 Steam-Ups and a Choice Band, which means you've got to have 4 Volcanion on your bench, 4 energy in your hand, and you're giving up that extra bulk from Fighting Fury belt. Hey ho, you can't have it all. The first attack is you're taking a KO while making yourself a bit bulkier next turn, but the second attack The second attack is I am taking a big KO kind of attack, and it's really quite nice. For 2 fire, 1 colourless energy, 130 damage, and you discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. Now we're getting a lot closer to the numbers. Single steam up with a Fighting Fury bout, well, that's a KO on a Tapu Lele. 2 steam ups and a Choice Band will get you all the way up to 220. And then you get a KO on a Zoroark, and you will get easy KOs on the metal stuff, assuming they have their weakness turned on. As long as their weakness is on, you're doing 130, which doubles goes up to 260, which is enough to even get these fairly bulky Pokemon like Solgaleo, and if it sees a bit of a comeback, Metagross. So all in all, ladies and gentlemen, this is a pretty good attack. It hits the numbers, it does enough damage. The first attack really isn't a huge damaging attack, but this second attack is. And like I've said, you may have to use Garbodor in order to KO metal Pokemon to turn off Solgaleo, but if you do, you do. It's not the end of the world. As I said in my video where I looked at Volcanion with Garbodor, we have basically got 2 choices. Either you need to turn off metal abilities, but you're getting a 1-hit KO anyway, so you don't need Steam Up, or you need Steam Up, which means you're not against a metal deck, so it's not so desperate for you to actually go and turn off those abilities. Space in the deck is an issue, but it should work if you can find space for it. And then, of course, we get to the slight issue with this second attack. You've got to discard 2 energy. Now, the good news is you can stack energy on here. This isn't like Tapu Bulu, where you do the extra damage if you discard all the energy attached to it. It is, no matter how much energy you've got on there, you're only discarding 2, which is really quite nice. It means if you use something like a Kiawe, you got 4 energy on there, you discard 2, 2 is still left on there, then the next turn you attach an energy and you're ready to go again. The ability to stack energy up on here is pretty nice. But then again, I need to give the same disclaimer I always do in this kind of situation. Do you really want to be stacking energy on a Pokemon that's got 130 HP and there is a very, very good chance is not going to be sticking around for terribly long? Meaning that actually it's kind of wasted to stack it on there. But as well as Kiawe, you've got the baby Volcanion, hey Nick, whereby it's got the power heater and you attach energy from the discard to your bench. That's quite nice. It is a basic Pokemon, so Max Elixir can definitely be used here. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck. If you find a basic energy, you can attach it to a benched basic Pokemon. That's kind of nice. And the aforementioned Kiawe, which I know it's still better with something like Ho-Oh. It's always going to be better with something like Ho-Oh, but it ain't bad, ladies and gentlemen. It has certainly got its uses here. But the thing is, this Fire Heatran, I see it exactly the same as I did when it was a Metal Heatran. It's very simple. This is a non-GX attacker. This is something to put in your deck, and you can take GX KOs here with a single prize attacker. That's what it was for a metal deck. That's what it is for a fire deck. It's nice. You don't want to be using Volcanion EX and Turtonator GX all the time every turn, because they give up 2 prizes. The non-EX Volcanion is really good as energy acceleration, but the 100 damage is just, it's a steam up less, and that makes a big, big difference when you're trying to hit these big KOs. It is nice. It's probably only a one-off, but as a one-off non-GX attacker in fire decks, I like it an awful lot. And of course, it's got 130 HP, which means when Golisopod or Zoroark come up for a return hit, it's not going to do anything. Well, I mean, it's going to do something, but it's going to do 10 less than it actually needs to do. It's not going to get KO'd in return, and that's really, really nice. I am giving this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. It's not the best card ever. It's not a card around which you're going to build a deck. But as an, I really want a non-GX fire attacker that can take a big KO or 2 during the game to save the load on my big GXs because I'm worried about them getting KO'd and giving up 2 prizes, yes. Absolutely yes. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, when we have these kind of things, I need to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wossy and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus pods, etc., you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. And please make sure you check out my video game channel, Wossy Plays, for some video game related fun. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.